It has been on the air for decades, a ghost signal humming through the static. The sound is brutally simple, steady, monotonous, a buzz. It plays all day and all night, an endless, featureless drone, known officially as UVB-76. Most listeners call it the buzzer on 4625 kHz. Always there, a machine that never slept, broadcasting a strange, empty message to the world. Then, one cold night, the unthinkable. The buzz stopped. Silence. Listeners held their breath, ears pressed to speakers. The radio fell utterly silent. Seconds stretched like an eternity. Then, a new sound, a voice, thin, distant, from a long, dark tunnel. A woman screamed, followed by a man's voice, rough, urgent, numbers, Russian words, jarring, chaotic, indecipherable. Less than a minute, and it was over. The voice vanished. A brief pause, the relentless buzz returned. But something had changed. The buzzer is a sound that lives on the shortwave radio spectrum, a portion of the airwaves known for carrying signals over immense distances. Unlike the FM stations that fill our car radios with music, news, shortwave signals can bounce off the ionosphere, an upper layer of the Earth's atmosphere. This lets them travel across continents and oceans, making them perfect for long-range communication. Ham radio hobbyists, dedicated listeners around the world, can tune to 4,625 kHz and hear the same low, steady buzz, a single repeating tone, a monotonous noise that drones on without pause, day after day, year after year. Not music, not speech, a simple industrial hum, a marker tone occupying its frequency with unwavering persistence. Months or even years can pass with no change. The machine behind the sound seems tireless, automated constancy. Then, without warning, a new sound breaks the monotony. A voice reading a cryptic message. Footsteps on a hard floor. A faint snippet of music. Those moments keep listeners coming back, fueling a global obsession. People first noticed and documented the buzzer in the late 1970s, early 1980s. At first, a strange curiosity, one of many odd signals during the Cold War. Hobbyists recorded the sound on cassette tapes, shared them. Then as the internet connected the world, isolated listeners found each other, formed online communities, forums, websites dedicated to monitoring UVB-76, and built a collective archive, a living history documenting the station's every move. The most compelling theories about UVB-76 place its origins squarely in the Cold War, an era defined by secrets, espionage, and the constant threat of global annihilation. Nations built complex and clandestine systems of communication, designed to operate in the shadows and survive the worst possible scenarios. Shortwave radio was a critical tool in this hidden conflict. Spy agencies from the East, spy agencies from the West, used it to send coded messages to their agents in the field. These number stations would broadcast strings of numbers, strings of letters, meaningless to the casual listener but vital intelligence for a trained operative with the right key. UVB-76 fits perfectly into this shadowy narrative. Its monotonous tone, occasional voice transmissions, bear all the hallmarks of a military signal. Experts believe the station was likely established by the Soviet Union as part of its vast military communications network. Its purpose secret, its existence an open secret among radio monitors, emanating from deep within Russian territory, shielded from prying eyes. A remnant of a bygone era, a ghost from a time when the world was divided, and the airwaves were a battleground. The station's broadcast was not always a buzz. In its earliest days, listeners reported a 2-second pip that earned it the nickname, the pipsqueak. Sometime around 1990, this sound was replaced by the now famous buzzing noise, suggesting a technical upgrade or a shift in the station's purpose, but the reasons remain a mystery. The signal has also changed location for years, traced to a base near Povarovo outside Moscow. Then, in 2010, it suddenly moved hundreds of miles, later traced near St. Petersburg, close to a small village called Karamassiv, proof the station is active, maintained, relocated by a hidden authority. A living piece of a secret world. The story of UVB-76 is inseparable from the people who listen to it, a dedicated group of amateur radio sleuths spread across the globe. These are not government agents or professional spies, they are ordinary people with an extraordinary passion for radio, volunteers spending their own money on sophisticated receivers, towering antennae, specialized software, students of the airwaves, experts in the art of signal intelligence, driven by curiosity and a love for a good puzzle. Over decades, they meticulously tracked the buzzer. Using radio direction finding, they pinpointed its location with remarkable accuracy. By taking bearings from multiple listening posts and plotting intersections, the likely transmitter site emerged. It's painstaking, often done in the dead of night when the shortwave bands are clearest and the world is quiet. You sit there in the dark, just listening," one longtime monitor wrote. "Most of the time, it's just the hum. But you're waiting for that moment when it stops. Your heart skips a beat. You know something is about to happen." They operate on trust and purpose, unofficial archivists preserving every strange event, every coded message, every unexplained noise, creating a detailed record of a mystery that spans half a century. These amateur sleuths have become the self-appointed guardians of the buzzer's legacy, ensuring that its strange, cold song continues to be heard and questioned by a worldwide audience. Section 5. The Dead Hand. Hypothesis. A doomsday trigger. Among the many theories, none is more chilling than a connection to a dead hand system, an automated nuclear retaliation concept born of Cold War fears. If leaders were wiped out in a surprise attack, the system would launch a counterstrike, the ultimate deterrent, mutual destruction, without a human chain of command. The logic: no one strikes first if retaliation is inevitable. Some theorists believe a constant signal like UVB-76 could be crucial. A keep alive tone. A sign everything is normal. The system would listen for that buzz. If the buzzing stopped for a prolonged period, perhaps because the transmitter was destroyed, it would trigger an alarm. That alarm could set in motion a chain of events, alerting commanders in hardened bunkers, or in the extreme, authorizing autonomous launches. The theory has some basis in reality. The Soviet Union developed perimeter to guarantee retaliation, even if Moscow was destroyed and communications severed. A constant radio signal would fit such a system. The idea that UVB-76 might be a modern version sends a shiver. An old machine, still on guard, finger on the trigger. "It's a scary thought," a ham radio expert was quoted, "that this noise we've been listening to for fun could be part of something final. Every time the buzzer falters, some hold their breath. Glitch, or the beginning of the end?" The idea, however unlikely, casts a long, dark shadow over the endless buzz of UVB-76. Section 6. A Web of Spies. The Coded Message Theory. A second theory, UVB-76 is a communications hub for a network of spies, rooted in the Cold War, when shortwave carried secret messages behind enemy lines. Numbers stations broadcast seemingly random strings of numbers, words, or letters. To an ordinary person, gibberish. To a sleeper agent with a one-time pad, vital instructions, meeting locations, targets, orders to act. In this scenario, the constant buzzing serves as a channel marker. Keeps the frequency occupied and easy to find. An agent living an ordinary life wouldn't listen constantly, only when the buzzing stops. The silence is the alert. The voice message that follows, a code name and a string of numbers, would be their orders. It's a classic spycraft technique, noted one historian. Simple, effective, very difficult to trace. This theory explains the peculiarities. Messages often start with a call sign like MDZHB, followed by numbers and Russian code words. For example, MDZHB 73, 853, Vulcan 2836, 7337. Voice broadcasts can be received with simple, cheap radios, almost impossible to trace back to the listener, unlike more specialized digital gear. By sticking to an old-fashioned method, operators ensure maximum security. A phantom master pulling strings from afar, a rare voice setting plans into motion worldwide. While tales of doomsday machines and espionage are exciting, a third theory offers a mundane explanation. UVB-76 could be a technical tool, a channel marker or test tone to keep a frequency open and measure propagation. It might be part of a system that monitors the ionosphere, broadcasting a steady tone from a known location and measuring reception elsewhere. The voice messages would be routine communications between technicians, reading logs or coordinating tests. Strange background noises, footsteps, muffled conversations, distant music, could come from an open microphone. A technician might have left a mic on by mistake. The screams could be another radio in the room, or a hoax. But the explanation doesn't satisfy everyone. Structured message formats with military-style call signs and code words, The sudden move in 2010 increased activity during political crises. If it's just a channel marker, why the secrecy? Why no comment from authorities? Plausible, yes. But it leaves too many questions unanswered, letting dramatic theories keep their grip. Beyond the structured voice messages, UVB-76 is famous for far stranger sounds. They are random, chaotic, and often sound deeply human. Muffled conversations, footsteps, a door slamming shut. One of the most disturbing recordings is of what sounds like a woman screaming, followed by a short series of tones, a cornerstone of the station's mythology. Woman screaming sound, then short tones. Skeptics argue it could be feedback, a snippet from another broadcast, or a hoax. But the recording remains deeply chilling. It makes your skin crawl, one listener wrote. It doesn't sound like a radio play, it sounds real. In 2010, fragments of Swan Lake drifted in. On another occasion, strange Morse code. At times, faint telephone conversations too quiet to understand. These events defy easy explanation, fitting neither spy nor doomsday theory, adding another layer of weirdness to an already profound mystery. Footsteps, voices, music, audio phantoms, each a new clue for online sleuths, ensuring the mystery never grows stale. After the signal moved from Poverovo in 2010, the old base became a pilgrimage for explorers and journalists. They found a scene from a post-apocalyptic film, crumbling buildings, rusting metal, forests slowly taking it back. The perimeter fence was full of holes. Inside, eerie desolation. Empty rooms, shattered windows, debris, scattered papers, discarded equipment, technical logs in Russian, diagrams, documents, evidence of a military communications hub. Deep in the complex, a massive bunker, steel doors ajar, cold, heavy air, corridors leading underground, rusting panels, severed cables, empty equipment racks, the likely nerve center of the old broadcast location. Explorers filmed everything. First visuals of the buzzer's former home. They found no transmitter, no big red button, but they found where the ghosts had lived. The exploration gave the mystery a physical dimension, a real place, a real history. Waterlogged bunkers proving something important happened there. Yet it raised more questions. Why the haste? Where did the equipment go? Who operates the new transmitter? In recent years, during a period of intense international political crisis, the station suddenly became more active than ever before. The familiar buzz stopped. For several days, a flurry of new, complex coded messages. The timing was too perfect to be a coincidence. As world leaders exchanged threats and news escalated, the Cold War relic seemed to stir from its slumber. Messages were longer and more frequent, suggesting a heightened state of alert. For listeners, fascination became unease. Was this mobilization? Secret orders to operatives? Forums buzzed with anxious speculation. It felt like a spy thriller in real time, a reminder that though the Cold War is over, its machinery may still wait for a signal. If it's a dead-hand trigger, permanent silence could have unimaginable consequences. If it's a spy network, its end could mark a hidden shift. If the mundane theory is correct, its silence might mean nothing, a failure in a forgotten system. The uncertainty is what makes the question so powerful and terrifying. We simply do not know. And so, the buzzer keeps buzzing, a monotonous drone riding the bands, a relic of the past that feels acutely present.